Welcome to MarcusG.TV. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. I'm a chef on a mission. Today's mission is superfoods. Superfoods, you hear about a lot in the news and magazines. They're all over superfoods. So what exactly is a superfood? A superfood is a food that gives you more power for the punch, more power for the bite, more nutrition per calorie. It is a super concentrated, nutrient-rich, nutrient-dense food. Okay, that's really what a superfood is. Now you see a lot of different superfoods out there. You know, it's just amazing what people consider superfoods. So I always like to look when I see a magazine or somebody posts superfoods. I like to see what their list of superfoods are. So I'm holding the a copy of Thrive magazine. Thrive magazine is Brendan Brazier's magazine. It's fairly new. It's only been out a year or so. And it comes out quarterly. You can find it in Whole Foods. That's where I pick up my copies of Thrive. So this is issue 1 that I'm holding. And Brendan Brazier is a plant-based athlete, a triathlete, a very celebrated one, a very known one, a very successful one. So he's talking about, or not him, but Kathy Freston. She has on there, who's an author, by the way, and she's talking about her 5 top superfoods. So here they are. Now I've seen some, where they list like celery as a superfood, eggs as a superfood. It's just, I mean, what people think of superfoods are totally different. So we're going to do her take on superfoods. So her first one is goji berries. Goji berries come from China. Typically, now I bought a goji berry plant this last year, planted it. Somebody who works for us on staff bought goji berry plants, and we got goji berries. You can grow goji berries here in New York. So goji berries typically come from China, and true, they are loaded with tons of nutrients, so mineral dense and tons of antioxidants. Just be careful when you buy goji berries. You want to buy a clean source of goji berries. Even if they're organic, they can be contaminated. They are coming from China. You want to buy from a company that actually tests for contaminants. The company we use tests for up to 400 different chemical contaminants. Even if they're listed as organic or certified organic, or they say they're organic and they could have a chemical, the company that we use rejects them. So my source of goji berries is not I want to say, as far as quantity-wise, not always reliable because they don't have enough quantity to go around. So just be wary of the goji berries that you are buying. Then she goes on to second for chocolate, or cacao. She calls it chocolate here. Cacao, the actual cacao bean or the nib, in its whole raw form, is extremely nutrient-dense, loaded with magnesium. Very heart healthy. So chocolate is one, but now don't go out and just eat a chocolate bar, okay? You want to really eat wild, non-hybridized, raw chocolate in its whole form of like the bean or the cacao nib or even cocoa powder will work. But you want to buy something from South America and preferably wild as opposed to hybridized, which is much harder to find. But of course, when something's wild, it has more antioxidants, which brings me to her another one of her top picks is blueberries. You can have cultivated blueberries or wild blueberries. What happens with wild fruits and vegetables is it has built its own natural immunity. It's built up its immune system to withstand, harsh winters, maybe mold, different elements that it lives in. Okay, so the higher the immune system, typically the higher the antioxidants. Same thing as that resveratrol, the wine antioxidant, the anti-aging antioxidant, is found in wine or found in grapes that have harsh winters. The colder the winters are, the more it needs to be protected. And Pinot Noir here in New York has the highest levels of resveratrol because it's a cold climate, thin-skinned grape that has to build its immunity up higher. But once you start hybridizing, hybridizing fruits and vegetables, you actually weaken its genetic strain. So then it needs more assistance, and it needs more pesticides, more aid in growing. So wild blueberries is much more stronger in antioxidant levels than cultivated blueberries. But still eat the blueberries. It's not an excuse not to eat blueberries. Like, oh, I know people that say, well, I'm a purist, or they think they're a purist, and they say, oh, don't want to eat cultivated blueberries because they're not as good for me, and then they turn around and have a piece of bread, white bread, right? So there's a lot of people out there like that. Blueberries. She has chia seeds. Chia seeds are a nutritional super powerhouse. Chia seeds, along with quinoa and other ancient grains like that, like amaranth, but chia seeds especially are really, really high on the antioxidant list, and they're so easy to work with. They're easy to cook. You can make granola out of them. You can soak them and dry them. There's a bunch of different things you can do with chia seeds. Chia pudding is one of the more famous applications. You grind it up and you mix it with a liquid, and it binds into a pudding. Really, really cool. You can make a chocolate pudding, make fruit puddings. Are really, really awesome. So it's a great binder for raw food recipes, raw food applications. Kale. I mean, there's so much buzz on kale. Kale makes a lot of people's lists, and there's no wonder why it does. It's just loaded with tons of nutrients, vitamins A, C, K, calcium, folic acid. And people love kale these days. People just absolutely love it. There's several different ways to work with it. You can juice it. You can have it in a salad. You can cut it up small. You need to cut it up smaller because it is harder to chew. You can get baby kale. You can get larger kale. You can get different types of kale. Red Russian kale. There's all different types. So experiment with different types of kale. It can be dehydrated into kale chips, which has been a phenomenon. You can find those in the health food stores and even in probably non-health food stores nowadays. I'd imagine that kale chips are popular. Some people make them at home in their oven on a very, very, very low temperature. The best way is a dehydrator on about 115 degrees or less. I love them coated with like curry, so you can take maple syrup, mix it with curry, make it a little spicy, throw some coconut flakes in there, or some chopped nuts, coat your kale, dry it overnight, and it's a nice crispy chip that's loaded with whatever flavor you want to put on it. And of course you can saute kale. Saute it with some garlic. Keep in mind that little oil is possible. I'm not a fan of using excessive amounts of oil or extra oil if I don't have to use oil. So a couple drops of oil go a long, long, long way. Properly fit lid on a pan helps cook vegetables, especially kale, because it creates steam, and it can obviously steam can aid in the cooking process. So those are Kathy Freston's top picks for superfoods. I like her list. There's a lot of lists that I said I don't like out there. You know, the list things like peanut butter, and I'm not a fan of peanut butter. And peanut butter, even if it's organic, can have up to 27 different molds and toxins on it. So it's really not, in my eyes, considered a health food. It's really a cheap source of it's just a cheap food source in general. Peanut butter, typically, especially the ones that are mass produced out there. If you look at peanut butter versus almond butter is like 3, 4, 5 times the price. Just because almonds are a much cleaner, safer product in my opinion. So, top superfoods. I really agree with her list. I like what she's saying, and that's awesome. Of course, there's many more than just 5 superfoods. There's a lot that are out there, so don't be stuck with those 5. She's just giving a rundown of her top 5, and great list. Great job, Kathy. Thank you very much for that list. Thanks very much for the contribution in Thrive magazine. If you've not picked up Thrive, go check it out. They're at Whole Foods or out quarterly, so every time you go there, it might not be there. Thrive magazine, Thrive, Thrive. And of course, Brendan Brazier is the author of Thrive, the actual book Thrive, and he has a cookbook coming out, Thrive Cookbook, which I can't wait to get a copy of that. So I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. Thanks for watching this video. If you like my videos, please hit like, subscribe to my channel, and definitely pass it on.